Welcome again to Wickerson Studios. My name is Michael Wickerson, and I am working on organizing my plugins. Right now, I am trying to learn C as fast as possible. As some of you can see from the past videos, I've got tons of plugins on here. I went in and I created a C component plugin, which was pretty disorganized, but I just had to get a bunch of scripts available to me to use in the Grasshopper window. So you click one, you bring it in, you got a little component to work with. I'm going to make sure that nothing's there, and I'll show you why. I also brought in another set of C's, a big one over here over Rhino Geometry, which should be an R, I believe, kicking around here somewhere, if I could just find the letter R. I thought it was farther out this way, but maybe it's hidden under something else. Rhino Geometry. Anyway, it's around here somewhere. It's probably that one. Yeah. So all my scripts are in there under Rhino Geometry, but once again, they're a little disorganized and they're hard to find because it's a learning curve to try to find out methods in classes. So it moved me on to this section, which is a great. Actually, I think these are the C algorithms I started taking from RIICE as well. But I had to go in, and I have one called W, which is Warsaw. And that is a great script somebody shared with me online, Warsaw University of Technology, Basic C for GH3D. And now I'm going through, you can see the organization in A's of Hello World, dealing with strings and formatting. B, which you get into basic types, strings, characteristics, and that gets a little extensive. And then I'm into, what did I call this one? I have to remember. It's a little hard to remember what I even called it. C being complex types. So that's where I went with that one, and that one will keep going, and I've got quite a few scripts to process, and that one I'll keep in order. Now, the point of that is so I could draw out a string of C-sharp nodes and build myself a pretty decent script for making sculptures. I'm actually still going to be an artist. I'm still going to make sculptures through this, installations, buildings, architectural structures. That's the main goal of my own plugin, and the plugin itself is going to be called Half Man, Half Beaver, because that's what I've called myself since I read the book on The Last American Man with Eustace Conway, and back in about 2008, I started building wood cabins out here in Kansas as a Canadian. I figured The Last Canadian Man in America was a pretty good title, and since I was working in wood, I call myself Half Man, Half Beaver. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start my plugins. This is a test plugin from Design Analyze, which allows me to just go in and make a spiral, which is kind of cool because I always like spirals. And what's happened is I've learned, and once again, I'm going to leave that one off for a second. I've learned how to work within, obviously, C sharp, using the templates come out of Grasshopper and Rhino Common, that I can go in and put my inputs, put my outputs, categorize everything I want. So you can see it'll be Wickerson Studio. This is my test Grasshopper script, Half Man, Half Beaver, and this will be the series sculptures as a subcategory. All inputs have to be worked, all outputs. The script itself falls in here, which I can actually follow. My mind actually follows scripts as long as they stay this simple. It's going to get a lot more complex when I start to bring node systems in. I probably will need the help of others. And one thing I've realized is that this online forum, private forum for GH-Python node and certainly the C# node has allowed me to see some direction to really get up to speed. So this is the steepest, fastest, quickest learning curve I've ever had. I'm trying to get it done before I head back to work in late January and then just process it over the summer. So hopefully I'll be able to revisit the sculptures that I've spent a good 20 years of my life, 30 years of my life making. And I'm very excited about that. And my plugin will not be, probably helpful or interesting to anyone out there, but it'll be a plugin that archives and analyzes and puts a gallery, a literal artist gallery for an artist online in the form of a plugin in Rhino. And I think that's a very interesting new concept, certainly one that I haven't had any direction to do. It's all self-driven. Now, why I did that is I have this little thing down here, and I put it in my visibility tab, this little WS icon. And what that does is that lets me run the Grasshopper reload assemblies. And when I do that, you'll see that it's like, are you sure you really only use it when it really solves a problem you're having? So I'll be doing that a lot because as I make subtle changes in here and I do a basic rebuild and make sure my system works, I'm going to want to go right back to Rhino, run it again, see if that changes the node within the plugin, and then I could run it down here. So I'm going to just build my sculptures and go back to like 1990 when I started making wheels. And these will be very simple scripts, and they'll escalate all the way up to some of my final sculptural works, 2016, 2018, when I was building the buildings on my land, and then got into computational design. So it seems to be, I've always thought Sid Vicious at 35 never would have survived. what would an artist do if they hadn't had lifelong learning and made more leaps and bounds for themselves. But the fact that my visual arts after 30 years might take the form of a plug-in in Grasshopper for Rhino is very exciting to me. And it's as clear as the first time I saw the 4D of Flex Hopper and Benjamin F., who was putting together these fabrics over top of spheres. And it was like, I want to make my cupolas for iron casting on fire and move digitally. So I've got something going in my own mind. There's 6 minutes in a nutshell of what I'm doing. I'm getting closer to it. I'm beginning the plugin series, and there you go, half man, half beaver. I'm still processing all of my C. I'm still processing my Rhino geometries. This will come together, and hopefully with the help of a few others, I can really make it smooth and optimized and work well for people. And in the end, I think it would be very cool to have a plugin that somebody can go into my designs, customize, make their own galleries, make their own images, change that. And in the same process, I can help and teach others that want to make their own plugins. That's going to take another few years, but let's get going. 6 minutes. Thanks for watching.